going to be making another one of these. I make these quite often for my reusable water bottles. Just makes it easier. It means you've got a strap to put over your arm rather than trying to carry the thing around like this. I'm going to be making this one for one of my granddaughters. Thought it was quite cute fabric, but it's only going to be a half size one because her bottle is a 250ml instead of a 500ml. So this one's going to be a bit smaller. So we cut 2 of the bottom pieces, which is 1 of your main fabric and 1 of your lining fabric. Same for the side piece, so I'm going to fold this in half so that it's the right height. So you cut 1 of that main fabric, 1 of lining fabric, and the handle you just do 1 of the main fabric. So I'm just going to draw around this pattern piece first of all. I tend to just use a normal Bic pen. There we go, so I'll just quickly cut this out and do the same with the lining, and that's the bottom piece for that. And then we'll cut a handle as well. I think I'm going to cut the handle just slightly longer. I think my rotary cutter needs a new blade. So there we have the handle. Put that with that other piece. And then we have this piece. So I think I'm going to do that just slightly taller also. So there we go. So that'll be the side piece. Okay. And then all we're going to do is the same with the lining. Okay, here we have our pieces that we cut out before. So we've got the base piece lining and the side piece lining. So I lay the long piece down and then I put the round base piece on top. And I'll leave a little space so that we can sew our side seam in a bit. So, glasses off. Let's do a bit of a shorter stitch. Okay. So what I do is I just keep moving this around as I sew so that this piece stays aligned to this edge. So I'll just do that now. And I sew until I get back to this edge. And then we've got the side seam here. So if I've got a little bit extra, I mean that's probably a bit too much really, but if I've got a bit extra I allow it to be that tight at the bottom, but at the top I kind of keep them level. Makes it easier to get the bottle holder in, sorry, the bottle in the bottle holder. So we just sew the side seam. Then I just trim the side seam and there we go. There's the lining. Okay. So we put that to one side and then we do exactly the same. Now you've got to make sure if your fabric is directional that you don't sew the base piece to the wrong side. So if I sew it to this side, when I've made it, the print will be upside down. So you've got to make sure you sew it to the right area. So we're going to do the same again. Base piece on top. There we go. And again, we'll just sew up this side seam. And again, keep it level at the top. Doesn't matter too much about the bottom piece. And then just trim, again, trim that side seam. Okay. And there we have bottom piece. There. Okay. So next, put that to one side. Next we're going to do the handle. So what we do is we fold the handle in half and give it a bit of a finger press. Then we're going to fold the edges into the centre. I normally press this, but I'm doing a bit of a quickie today. Then you fold those sides into the centre, like this. Then fold it in half. And if you want to be precise, you can pin it, you can press it, you can do all of those things. But to be honest, it works just as well without. And then I just sew down one side. And just level it all up again. Fold those into the centre. Make sure all your bits are tucked in. There we go, and there's our handle. Okay, and you can see I've sewn down both sides. I quite like it when it's sewn down both sides. So then what we can do is we can put our straps in place. I like to fold it on the seam and then put the straps on each side like this. And if you want, you can sew them on previously, or you can pin it. I just put a wonder clip on, and then make sure your strap isn't twisted, and then put it, whoops, then put it on the other side. Okay, now you're going to put these together, right sides together. So this one needs to be inside out, and this one needs to be the right way round. So then we just tuck it all inside. And you can line up your seam if you want to, or you can level your seams up either side. Doesn't matter which way you feel like doing it. Either is good. So I'm just going to undo the wonder clip and just make sure we hold everything in place with it. So I'm going to start sewing around about here, and I'm going to leave a gap there for turning the bottle holder inside out. So I'm going to start here. Do a little back stitch. And take that wonder clip off. and I'm going to back stitch over the handle, which means it'll have 3 layers of stitching. Just because we don't want it coming off. And again, I'm going to back stitch over the handle. And then leave a gap. Leave a gap for turning it around the correct way. Yeah, it went a bit wonky there, never mind. It won't matter. Okay, so where we've left the gap, we're going to pull the whole thing around the right way, tuck the lining through, the bigger your gap, the less you've got to wrestle, but it's amazing what will fit through a small gap. There's the handle, we can pull that through. There we go. And we tuck the lining inside. Give it a little pull. Make sure that your lining is level with your outer fabric, and where the gap is, it's nice and level. Give that a bit of a finger press as well if you're not going to take it to the iron. Okay, so once you've got it how you want it, I'm going to sew over here, I'm going to top stitch, and that will close the opening from where we turned it round the right way. So get it under your foot, and then top stitch all around the top of the bag. Okay, so there's the finished bag. Let's just trim these threads off. And as you can see, it's a bit smaller because it's going to be for a 250, not the 500, but we'll try it on for size anyway. So I like them to be really tight to get on. I like them to be really snug, because that way they're not going to fall out if you happen to tip them up the other way. So there we go. That fits on there perfectly. Obviously it looks silly because it's the wrong size bottle, but there we go. And you have a little handle to hold it with.